everybody. Again, I'm Cheryl Abram. I'm very happy to be here and very happy that you're here. I absolutely love, if you've read anything or seen anything I've done, I love talking about this. So I'm all over the place, okay? In this year, actually, I changed careers I was in learning and development for about 16 years in the government. And now I'm starting in cybersecurity, which I absolutely love. It's a really amazing field, and there's a lot of non-dualish type stuff in it. Okay, so what I see is that I see my life in like 3 chapters right now. Now I'm a reader. Okay, I don't just read books. I am a reader. So you know how some people cook and some people are chefs. Some people play basketball and some people are basketball players, right? Like they're like connoisseurs of the thing, right? That's how I feel for reading. So I see a lot of things in that way. So right now I'm in, I'll say the 3rd chapter, okay? And that's the way I've been living since I had the experience, or whatever the hell, we call it. And it's been very interesting. It's been very interesting. And I kind of see it as going full circle, right? So of course, the 1st chapter was my childhood, like before kindergarten, right? And when things were just, I was just a child, like I really didn't know a whole bunch of stuff, right? And then I moved into the 2nd, where I started going to school and learning things, right? So what I came to realize was, so when I was 17, I joined the military, okay? And we had to go, and I'm from Louisiana, so we had to go to the MEP station in New Orleans. I forget what that stands for, but it's like where they go to prepare you to go to basic training and stuff. Well, you have to take shots, they fit you for the uniform, all that. And I remember the day I went in to get my eye examination, okay? Now, I've never been to an eye doctor, okay? But I saw fine, like there was nothing wrong with my sight. I could see everything, So I went in and they did the examination. And the doctor, you know how he puts the different things in front of your eyes to see if you see better out of one than the other? And I actually saw much clearer out of one, which shocked me, right? Because I'm like, I had no idea I couldn't see, basically. I had no idea what I was seeing was not what it was supposed to be, right? So when I got the glasses, and they call them BCGs, right? Birth control glasses, because they just suck all the sexuality out of you when you put them on, they just look like that. So I put on my BCGs and the clarity was ridiculous. I mean, it was so amazing, okay? And that's exactly what happened to me in 2013, right? Which was the start of my 3rd chapter, okay? Because that whole 2nd chapter was like me, when I wasn't wearing glasses and I just thought everything was fine. Like how would I know? Because I have nothing to compare it to, basically, right? So those 3 chapters, right? There was just the growing dissatisfaction that and the exhaustion, the absolute exhaustion that I was experiencing, like from 17 on to 30 something was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And I really feel that that's the thing, just getting tired, tired of trying to live. So this is the analogy that I have for it. Imagine, well, you don't have to imagine, I'm sure you've experienced this, right? Somebody comes to visit you in your house. It's a relative, boyfriend, girlfriend, cousin, maybe your spouse or whatever, is in the house, whatever the case is, right? So for me, it's a friend. A friend comes to visit. Now, I don't want to be bothered, okay? Like this, I want to be able to just walk around the house, with you know, not have to dress up, no makeup, not have to be nice to anybody. I want to use the bathroom, the door open. I mean, you know, walk around in my underwear, whatever I want to do, I want to do it. Okay. But this presence in my house is kind of preventing me from doing it. Okay. So I'm like, can you just go? You know, so I can just relax. So that the way that's the way I felt, right? And one of the things that so when I read books, I try to take away one thing from each book. What's the one thing I can take with me after reading this book? So as far as my book, my chapters, okay, one of the things that I take away from my story is I really had the feeling, like I got the realization that life would be so much better if Cheryl was not here. Okay. And that's not a suicide thing. That's like there's a presence in my house and I want to relax and they won't leave type thing. Right. So I just knew if Cheryl wasn't here, I could just live. I would just be able to do what the birds do and, you know, the butterflies or whatever, you know, just live. Um, and then another thing that I realized after that was that death doesn't kill me. Now that was such a, it was an even stronger realization than the other one. Okay, so this is like, okay, let's go back to the person in the house. The presence in the house won't leave, so I can't relax. I can't do what I want to do. Now it's come to the point where the presence, some kind of way, the presence has been there so long, the visitor has been there so long that for somehow I believe that if they leave, then I'm gonna die. Okay, so now they have to stay. Some kind of way this presence has told me, you know, let's say it's my boyfriend or something, right? He's in the house and he won't go home. All right. Now he's told me, well, Cheryl, if I leave, you know, you're gonna die. You know, so you don't want that to happen, do you? So I'm like, damn, actually I don't. You know, I don't want to die, but I don't want you here either. So what the hell am I going to do? You know, so he stays, you know, so I have to tolerate it and try to go ahead about my day, you know, not really being authentic. Okay. Cause the presence is there. All right. Which just got so frustrating. Right. And that my whole second chapter was me believing if the presence left, I was going to die. Okay, that was like, you know, and so what I, so the day when so I talk about this in my book, Firing God, right? So the day when I was at work and I felt death coming. It was like, and I don't know why. It's like, I didn't tell you to go. Like, why are you leaving? Where are you going? Like, what are you doing? Right. So I felt it coming, like, and I knew I was going to die. But I didn't know why, because I didn't do anything. Okay. I hadn't done anything to cause what was happening. So I'm thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen to my kids? And, you know, so I'm just sitting at work, my heart's beating 1,000 miles a minute. And I just know it's dead. That's just it. So I just had to accept it. Right. And then nothing happened, but everything happened. Okay. I absolutely, it was like the day at the MEP station when I put the new glasses on. I mean, everything was so clear, and I just absolutely knew everything. The presence was gone. Okay, I don't know how. I didn't ask it to leave. I didn't. I don't know how the presence just left. Okay, but it was gone. All right, and it was amazing. It was so amazing. But the thing is, right, is that it didn't last long, right? I didn't, whatever was going on didn't last a very long time. But if it would have, like, I just knew some kind of way that I wouldn't be here anymore, right? Not that I would have died, or whatever, that is. I just wouldn't have been wherever this is, okay? So it, the whatever was going on dissipated, and all that, and things went not back to where they were, because the presence wasn't there anymore, okay? And there was almost like an open space, okay? So when somebody's really close to you, you feel that, right? And when they leave, you can feel that space is empty. Well, this is kind of, the way that it happened. And what I also later on realized is what that presence actually was, right? And from what I can gather right now, I was actually the presence, right? It was me in the house that that I wanted to leave. So it was the ideas and the things I was holding on to as absolutely true, that was in the house. I had built it up into a presence in my life, right? And wouldn't let it go. So and it started with things like nouns are different than verbs, and those things in the ocean are called fish, and 2 + 2 is 4. The things that you learn in school, the earth is round, it's not flat. All of the answers that I had that were absolutely true. Okay, I'm a woman, you're a man, I'm black, I'm not white, and all of that stuff that was true, that needed no questioning, was the presence that I had built up in my life, and that I didn't want there, but I couldn't let go of, because if I did, I was going to die. So one of the other things that I took away from the chapter, and this is related actually to what the conference is about, it's is that nothing is serious, and I think it was Alan Watts who says it's absolutely sincere, right? Like you do things authentically, and there's integrity there. And by integrity, I don't mean you never tell a lie. I just mean you're on the same way, like wherever I am, people know what to expect, basically, right? And so sincerity, absolutely, but seriousness, no. Because another thing that that happened when I got my new glasses for the first time is it was funny. It was really funny that I thought I had actually been seeing clearly, and I wasn't. There was nothing. I mean, it was just funny. It was, and the same thing happened on that day. When I saw that I was wrong about everything, absolutely everything. Which was awesome. That was so awesome, because that wrongness, or whatever the hell, gave me so much space, a lot of space to think about, 2 + 2, huh? Is that really what it is? And the questions just came, I'm telling you, all the questions just bubbled up out of everywhere, all kinds of questions, right? Which was so freeing. Things I'd never thought to ever question in my life. So Southern Louisiana, right? That's where I'm from. Everybody down there, loves the Lord with every fiber of their being, okay? And to question that was just not even a thing, okay? It's like questioning gravity or something. I mean, it's just, that just never comes up, okay? So that was an enormous question that I had, right? But it wasn't all roses and good times and laughter, There was some white hot terror in a lot of that stuff too. Okay, it was quite terrifying. A lot. I would find myself thinking about something and wondering if it actually was that way, and I would just be so scared. Not that it was something else and not that, just not that it was that way. Like it's supposed to be like this, but if it's not like this, then what is it? And the what is it? The uncertainty was the terrifying, it was awful. It was really, really bad. It was really bad. So one thing I talk about in the book is that after I saw that, I was wrong about everything, my life just, went to hell in a handbasket, just to hell. I was already having a hard time. And it was crazy. And I was like, I don't have time for this. Like, I really don't. I'm not, because I was not looking, whatever this was, I wasn't looking for it. Okay. I was not looking for it. I didn't know about it, didn't care. I wanted to be a better Christian, and that's it. So I can get my life together. Okay. I was going through a divorce. I mean, all kinds of crap was going on. My house was being foreclosed, all that. I did not have time for spiritual shit. I did not. I was like, listen, let me do this. Give me like 6 months, okay, to take care of all of this stuff. I got bigger fish to fry, okay? I got to go to court. These bills are coming in. Life is happening. I ain't got time for spirituality and all that crunchy stuff, okay? But whatever was going on was going on, okay? I was gonna have to do it on my way to court. I was gonna have to do whatever this was gonna have to be worked out and given attention while I'm, moving in my sister's basement because I don't have a house anymore. All of that stuff, when I'm going outside to see why they're towing my car away, this stuff had to be taken care of, okay? Because it wasn't going anywhere. It was not, right? I didn't have the opportunity to do the India retreat or whatever for 6 months, however long that stuff happened. It would have been nice to just get away and, but no, I had to do it while the kids were crying and the water's running over in the tub, and my boss is calling and I got this thing to do. I mean, it was just nuts. It was nuts, but, and very frustrating, because I'm like, if I can just get this, if I can just get whatever this is, I can move on, and do things. But I couldn't get it. I was like, what the fuck? What is this? I could not get it. And I remember laying in my bed in Maryland, just crying, because I'm like, it's right there. Like but I can't catch it, and I kept trying to grab it so I could have it and then, move on. Oh my God, it was so frustrating. And then I was like, I didn't ask for this. I did not. What the hell is going on? So eventually, though, I never got it. And I still don't have it. Whatever the hell I was supposed to get, I don't know. But I just ask my questions and I wonder about stuff, and I'm okay with being wrong. I'm good. I'm with that stuff. Somehow I'm okay right now. Still having not grasped anything. Okay. And stuff still happens. The question at the end of Firing God, I said, so what? All right. Now, the thing is this, we're all one, or whatever we are, there's not two or something. So what? Okay. Like, seriously, so what? All right. And that's like that third chapter has been looking at that so what, has been experiencing the so what of whatever is going on, right? And I don't necessarily see it as anything spiritual, like, because to me it's just like I said, whatever was going on had to happen, while I was on the lot trying to buy a new car, or trying to not be taken advantage of by these car dealers. Like it had to happen there. It had to happen there. And here, here as I'm sitting here talking to y'all on this Zoom with Corona out there, that's where it had to happen, right? So it's not spiritual. Is that spiritual? I don't know. It's just, it's just a part of whatever else this stuff is, right? So, also on my channel, my YouTube channel, Life Without a Witness, that's what I'm there for, right? I'm there to talk to people like me, whatever that means, okay? Because one of my issues when I first, tried to find out what was going on, I was looking for somebody like me, because I needed somebody to see and understand what Cheryl was experiencing, I could ask, how did you deal with it when you were, going through this particular thing at home? How did you deal with it as your kids were running around you, and all of this stuff was happening in your relationship and stuff, right? And I did not see anybody that who I could ask that question of and really get a real down to earth answer, or so I didn't see that, right? So I said, okay, I can't be the only one like me, again, whatever that means, who's here, or who has questions, or who's wondering, what do I do? Like, what is this, right? So I said, I'm gonna be here for me. Okay, I'm gonna be here for me, and to people who've had the same experience, and who are having, um, the same experience, and unable to have what do you call it, a master, or we just don't have that, and which was one of the questions that I asked earlier, like, is that necessary? Because it sounded necessary. It sounded like I had to, a lineage, I think is what they called it. I'm like, shit, all I like, who is that for me? Who is my lineage person? I don't know. Does that mean it's not legit? Or, I mean, like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't even know what that is, but I'm here, right? And actually, to that, I'm working on something now called Roots Retold. Okay, so we know the story, and the book Alex Haley wrote called Roots, right? About his roots and where he came from, and there's a TV show and all that, which we used to watch that all the time, when I was growing up. And what I've discovered, right, is that one of my favorite people in the world, never met him, nothing, is he's a Nobel Prize winner in physics. What is his name? I just had it. No, I just had it. It's going to come to me. But he gives a description of what fire is, okay? And in that description, he begins to talk about trees, where trees come from. And he talks about how the sun knocks the molecule off the thing, so just carbon is left and all that. And he finally says the roots of a tree are actually in the air. They're not in the ground. They're in the air, because without the sun doing that work that it does with the molecules to, knock them apart and all that. So I'm like, damn, that's where the roots are. So what does that mean? If roots are actually in the air, which means those roots are being created, like right now, not you know, the ones in the ground, you know, not that, the other roots. Okay. I'm like, man, the implications of that are just, oh, legion, right? So roots retold is something that I'm working on, and not to discount, you know, the original story of roots, because absolutely not. But no, not him, not that one. I forget his name. Uh-uh. What is, I think it starts with an M or something. I don't know. And he's one of, oh, Feynman. Richard Feynman. That's it. Yeah, because he has this whole Feynman technique about the way people learn, you know, and he says, I love how he says, if you can't explain something simply, then you don't know what it is. And this man will take the most complicated thing and make a 4-year-old understand it. I mean, he's just absolutely amazing. I love him. Watch all his videos on YouTube. I mean, he's so good, right? So good. And I absolutely love that. And that got me to thinking. I'm telling you, that really did. So I love that explanation, you know, and it's stuff like that. Because they didn't teach me that in school. You know, they don't say stuff like that. You know, they really don't. And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday about, I don't know if you all have seen The Truman Show, right, with Jim Carrey, where he's in this town, and he's the only one in the town who knows it's not real, okay, because it's a TV show, right, and they're trying to keep him there. So there's this part in the show where he's reminiscing about being in class, and he tells the teacher, when I grow up, I want to be an explorer. And the teacher takes out a map or a globe, and she shows him, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing else to explore. It's all been done. You know, there's nothing else. You know, and I can see that I had that mindset at one time. Like, there's nothing else to do. You know, now it's just competition, right? It's all just competition right now, because there's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to know. You know, we pretty much got it. You know, we figured it out. You know, we're the what the hell we call ourselves, the higher species or whatever. There's nothing higher than this. You know, we got it. Okay. Which is so not true. I mean, and I was telling him, I said, when people were here already, America was discovered. You think it can't be discovered again? You know, there's plenty to discover and explore. There's a lot of stuff, right? A lot of things. And that's just what it is, you know. So finally, I'll say this thing, right? I was, for one of my blog posts, what is it called? It's called Silence is Consent, I think I call it. Silence is Consent. Because I've been wondering about space. It's like the space around us, you know. And I looked at this video on YouTube by this doctor. He did an experiment called the still face experiment, okay? Still face experiment, where he had a mom and her child. I think the baby was maybe like 2 or 3, something like that. It was an experiment about attachment and stuff, okay? So what happened was, he had the mother sitting there with her baby in the front of her, just playing with her, you know, as mothers do. You know, with babies, we're making the faces, we're smiling, we're doing the baby talk, and the baby's responding, okay? The baby's cooing, and she's laughing, and she's reaching out to mom, and doing what babies do with their mothers, okay? And the doctor told the mom, he said, I want you to have a still face. So the mom went like this, and all expression, like everything she was doing just stopped. She had a still face. She showed no emotion, just stayed there. Now the baby is still interacting, you know, still trying to, you know, get mom to respond, okay? Mom is there. She hasn't gone anywhere. Okay, the baby sees her right there, but she's not responding. She's not doing what she was doing before. So clearly you can see the baby get very agitated. I mean, she starts looking around in her chair. She tries to point so mom can look at, mom's not doing anything. She starts crying and she's very, very agitated. Mom is there. She's clearly there, but she's not responding. Okay. Now, as I'm watching this, I'm like, girl, get your baby, okay? Because now I'm getting upset. Come on now, like, what are you doing? Right? So she finally started, and I was like, oh, okay. You know, everything is right in the world again, okay? Because now mom is responding like she was before. And the doctor, you know, he talked about how it's important for, you know, attachment and things like that, you know, with babies and all that. But there's another thing I see there, right? There is, when I think about this space around us, right? Which is what I call it, because that's what everybody calls it. I don't think it's that. It doesn't respond. Like anything can happen. Anything, I don't care what the hell. Anything can happen. And it's everywhere, even in your dreams. It's everywhere. Everywhere. So I thought, what the hell is that? Like, really? What is it? What is it really? What is it really? And it's like the background, you know, I remember telling my supervisor at work, right? How I told her, I said, there was a cup on the table, but even if you just look at me, right? And I'm Cheryl, okay, and I'm here and I'm sitting in a chair and all that. But that's not true, because I'm not anything without the background. You know, if there was no background, there would be no me, you know, and that's the case with, so I can't be Cheryl if I'm this and the background, okay? So when I look at that to really think about that, you know, is I can't even I can't even, okay. So the still phase experiment, you know, seeing that happen and then wondering about this background that we have, you know, and how the baby was just afraid because there was no response. So even though mom was there, you know, the question is, am I alone? You know, am I alone? Mom is here, but she's not doing anything. So now I'm scared, okay? Not just because I may be alone, but because I don't have control. Okay? Now, when the baby is responding, when mom is responding, you know, and they're doing the back and forth, I feel like, okay, I have some kind of control. Think about when you're talking to somebody and they respond to you, okay? They can hear me. I have some kind of control. You know, I say, can you pick that up? And they pick it up and give it to me. Or, you know, there is some volition here, all right, which is, you know, makes me feel good, powerful, like I can do some shit. Now, if I'm walking around talking to people and they're not doing anything or responding or noticing or whatever, you know, it'll be like, they're clearly there. Okay, they're clearly there. So what else could be happening? Okay, I can't control anything. I have no control over it. Both of those things are very scary. Okay, so I know I was that baby. I was that baby. Something was not responding. Something wasn't responding. I clearly see it. I clearly feel it. I smell it. I taste it. All that. It's not responding. Okay, am I living life without a witness? Am I here by myself? That's all I have, Mom.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that was muted because half of your talk would have been me cracking up. So awesome. I'm sure you could see me doing it. I have some questions for you. And one of the things, thanks again for sharing your story. One of the things that I think sort of resonated with me, and it might for a lot of people that are watching or will watch this, is there tends to be this expectation of the 3 feet floating above the ground, and all of a sudden the messy life that was happening is no longer messy. And yet in reality, I mean, what you just described, it's just not the case.
No.
You know, it's and in fact, when we talked about even putting this on, one of the things that that we talked about was this post-awakening support, you know, that thing, because it actually, a lot of mentions, a lot of stories come up that it can be very lonely.
Yeah.
In that context. And so it's just, I really appreciate hearing you say that. I want to share a quote of yours that I really like, and have you comment on that a little bit. There's 2 that I really like, but I'll start with the first one. A belief in anything is a belief in nothing. That is your quote, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Obviously, with the being the Nothing conference, that one, you know, struck my eye. But can you talk about that a little bit?
Because the way I see belief, it's like, so yesterday I was talking to my 9-year-old about money. He had a math problem and stuff, right? So we're talking about money and what it represents. Okay. So I gave him the example of how, you know, how the United States flag represents the United States, but it's not the United States. Like, we don't live on the flag. We don't till in the flag and grow stuff in the flag. It's just a representation of something real, okay? Of something that's actually there that we can sense and smell and all that. I feel that way about belief, because it can't do anything. Like, it's just, you know, it's just there as a representation of something else. And you don't even need it. Like, something else I say is that belief is not necessary. The flag isn't necessary. The America ain't gonna disappear if the flag leaves. Okay. So a belief in anything, like, you're really not believing. There's nothing there, basically. There's nothing there.
That's great. So I have some Q&A questions from the audience, and I'm going to share. Jerry just sent one. Emerson mentioned this in the past, but you mentioned the non-dual aspects of your current career in cybersecurity. And can you talk about that a little bit? Definitely.
Yeah. So I have redefined so many things, y'all. I mean, I'm working on definitions that people have never heard of. I'm telling you, I really, really am. And one of the things that I'm doing with the cybersecurity is coming up with various courses, and one of them is on leadership. So the way I define, you know, leadership is that you, first of all, you don't have any followers. Like, that's not the purpose, right? It's to have followers, right? So leadership is simply bringing your whole self to every situation. Like, that's leadership. That's really, you know, what that is you bringing your whole self to every situation. So the leadership training for cybersecurity professionals will be about that. Okay, it's going to be about that. And also, when we look at networking, you know, how the computers talk, and you know, all these things talk to each other and all that stuff. And all of this is happening in a system, right? Where a system is a collection of entities seen by someone as working together to produce something, right? So in cybersecurity, what we try to do is remove the vulnerabilities out of a system. Take them out, take out all the vulnerabilities so we can have a strong system, right? Well, you as a person are essentially a vulnerability, right? Because, you know, it's because of you that, you know, you're clicking on wrong links, and, you know, people hacking your password is 1 2 3 4 5. You know, you're the vulnerability, okay? But no, that's not what we're going to do. So, because vulnerability is actually strength, okay? That's your strength. The stuff you're trying to take out is where your strength lies. So, we're going to talk about how we can, place the vulnerabilities, where they can strengthen the structure, So everything I do, this comes into it. Like it has no choice but to, because that's just what I see. It's what I see.
Yeah, that's great. Once you see it, it is everything, and then it just sort of pops up that way.
Yeah.
So no question from Lynn, just amazing to hear. Cheryl, like, gave you some nice words there. And then Tim has a question. Do you share your message with your family or church friends, and what are your thoughts and feelings regarding Christianity now? I mean, obviously the book Firing God is, some Christians probably thought that's pretty controversial. And your friends and family are going to know, hey, I wrote a book and it's called this. So that's a great question from Tim, but definitely curious about that one.
I was terrified to tell my mom. She was the last person to know that I wrote a book called Firing God. I mean, it was, and I told her because the book was coming out the next day. That's the only reason I knew somebody was going to say, Patricia, your daughter wrote a book. I'm like, oh my God, I got to tell her. So I told her, and, of course, she was sad, because, Jesus is who gives us life, and, and we have his, the Bible and stuff like that. So she was very, because she doesn't want to see anything bad happen to someone she loves, which I totally get. I absolutely get that, So she was very sad, but, she and all of Louisiana are praying for me today, okay, to see the light and come back, and all of those wonderful things. So my family sees what everybody sees, okay, because I share openly. I share everywhere, okay. Now, no one has asked, Cheryl, can you sit down and talk to us about what? No, that's not going to happen. I don't think, but they know what I share. They see what I share, and every now and then they'll send me a video of somebody, talking about how they left the Lord and came back, and they're hopeful. They remain hopeful. Okay. Which is, again, fine, because I get it. I get it. I love people too. Okay. And the people I love, I don't want to see them hurt in any way at all. And if I felt like they were going in a wrong direction, I would do what I could, to help them, So I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. And they're not pushy or anything like that. So they're very accepting. And which some people don't have that. And I don't know if it's especially in the Black community, because we have there's an organization called Black Nonbelievers, and they're there for people who are questioning religion, and who are afraid to tell their families, okay, because of what they think might happen. Nobody wants to be, ignored or put aside by their family, or grandmother. Come on now. I mean, nobody who wants to hurt their grandmother, who's very, religion is enormous in our community. So no, I don't talk to them directly about it unless they ask. My sister asked to read my book, which I thought was amazing. I was very surprised by that, but she did. But we don't have those kinds of conversations, even though they do see what I talk about.
Yeah, I mean, there's the I'll pray for you sort of condescending, but what you're describing is just, it's an act of love based on a belief system. So it's all love anyway. That makes perfect sense. So Sheen said, the person in the room analogy is spot on and resonates a lot. The fear of death if the person leaves kept you stuck. Was that a conscious belief or a subconscious belief? Or is it something you realize in hindsight as something that kept you trapped?
Great question. It's absolutely something I see in hindsight. Yeah, I did. I did. Because I blamed the I blame myself, because that's what it was. It was because I wasn't good enough, you know, that I was having all these issues and I couldn't get comfortable and I couldn't just live. I couldn't just live, it's because I wasn't good enough, so I had to keep, I had to pray more and fast more and go to church more and give more and ignore more and pray for people more and shut my mouth more. It was me. Okay. That was, and it actually was, but not in that way. It was all about unworthiness. Okay. If you're unhappy, that's what you deserve anyway. Okay. So if you get anything more than that, you're lucky. It's grace and mercy that's giving you more than being miserable. Okay. So shut up and just deal with it, basically. So yeah, it's definitely a hindsight thing, as I see. It was me, but me in a different way, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Here, there was a big fear as a parent. What if I don't care? And sort of on this, I would call it maybe the edge before the fall. What if I don't care anymore? You have responsibilities, all these different things, they come up. And of course, it's just the mind, the ego, that fear of death. This is going to go away. And the next question is about being a mom. So I'll ask that one.
Okay.
Hi, Cheryl. I found being a mom brings some big questions regarding non-duality. It seems like it's such a strong identity, and I experience deep suffering at times through my kids. I'd love to hear something about your experience as a mom. Thank you.
So, as a mother, I came to see that for me, mom is like, so how the sun has qualities of like warmth and light, like heat and light. Okay, that's just what the sun does, right? That's what it does. Mom is like a quality, like heat and light. Mother is just something that this does. Okay, it's a quality of it. Okay, there's no the heat. The sun cannot be a good light or a better heater or something like. It's just it is what it damn is. So mother is like that. Okay, and I also see that one thing I tell people a lot, and even when I'm doing training and stuff, I'll tell people, you don't need me. Like you really don't need me to do whatever it is that or to be whoever you are. Okay. I feel the same way from my kids. You don't need me. You absolutely do not, which is that's a hurtful thing to some people possibly. But for me, that's just the way it is. And because that's the way it is, the control factor that was there, like I have to be able to lead and guide these little people. And if I'm not able to do that in a way that other people find useful, I'm a bad mother. Okay. We don't do that over here now. Okay. Because first of all, being guilty about where my children are, and blaming myself, that's another. Guilt is nothing but me trying to convince myself that I have control. You're guilty because you feel like I should have done something. And if I would have done this, they would have done that. We're back to that still face thing again. Okay. I don't have that control. I don't. Okay. And nor do I need, when I finally let my kids go, and I'm talking about even my little ones, my 9 and my 10-year-old, right? These little people, I tell you the truth, they're amazing. They really, really are. They get on my last nerve a lot. However, my motherhood or my mother quality is not about them. I just have a mother quality was already there. Okay. It was already there. So now they're here, and they too, even though they're boys, they have that quality is with everybody. That quality is just there. Okay. So now what does that mean? That means I'm just I'm interacting with them, I'm growing with them. Okay, I'm growing with them. And I am, I advice and guidance and food and, water, all that stuff that, that comes with it, clothes for school and all of that. That comes with it. But the pressure is not here anymore. The pressure to be the best mother I can be, is absolutely not here anymore. Okay, because mother is happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. You're the freedom in not passing that neuroses down to them. You said we don't do that anymore. I mean, it's beautiful because we think our children are perfect, but they are perfect in that sense. And you don't have to try to make sure that any of these imperfections that you had don't exist, don't come up in them. And there's just such amazing freedom in that. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. So Tim said, I have a Cajun friend who has hard feelings about this, or another message from Christian. So thank you for your answer. That was Tim responding to your question. I'm going to ask about your other quote.
Okay.
Actually, it's perfectly relevant. The world is not your enemy. You are.
Oh. I remember that. Yeah. The world is not your enemy. So one thing that was critical, absolutely necessary when I was a Christian, was that I have enemies. Okay. Enemies were so necessary, right? Because there had to be a me and a them. We can't all be mixed up because I need to get more than they get and do more than they do and be more than they are. Okay. So enemies were necessary. All right. Now, when I saw that my so-called enemies weren't that, then I was like, so who's the enemy? If it is not her, if it's not this bee over here, that's getting to me, then who is it? And which goes back to that presence in the room. Okay. I'm totally manufacturing, like I have a whole manufacturing company and equipment. Okay. I'm manufacturing all of this stuff, right? And I'm creating this enemy, okay, for my own purpose, so I can, to make me feel however it is I want to feel. I'm. It's like when Alex is it Alex? No, Baldwin. What's his first name?
Alex
Baldwin, the author.
Okay. Not the celebrity.
Not the celebrity. No. James Baldwin. It's James Baldwin. It's like how he said in the show I'm Not a Negro, right? He's like, I didn't make that. Like I didn't create. He said nigger in his video, right? He's like, I didn't create the nigger. I didn't do that. You did. Okay, you created him. Okay, so what is he to you, right? Because that's not me. It's the same thing. An enemy is like, I made that. So why did I make it? That's what I have to find out. Why did I make it? What good is it doing me? Because I can't go to you, my so-called enemy, to not be my enemy, because you didn't make that, I did. Okay, so this is where it starts. This is where the investigation starts. When it comes to enemies, it starts right here. Okay, why did I make that?
That's so great. Yeah, they were created out of your own mind. And there's all these popular phrases like everyone's a mirror and those kinds of things, but it ends up being the case where this thought is arising for what reason? That we're all this one thing happening, and they're great opportunities and great reminders to sort of go back to, wait, why would I burden myself with anger towards this person? I'm carrying the burden. They're not,
right.
And maybe if they're in your family, they are carrying some of the burden because they're around you if you're angry all the time, but that's maybe another talk. So I have one more question. it's from an anonymous attendee. It says, have you gone through the dark night of the soul? I don't know if you've heard of that, that phrase before.
I've heard it before, but what is that? I'm not sure what that is. What does that mean?
I mean, honestly, from where I sit, what you explained at the beginning with going through a divorce, you know, all these different things is some sort of energetic element of that, where it's just sort of world crashing down. But I'm not entirely sure. If you don't have any context for it, then that's okay.
I mean, I remember going with my sister to have lunch at Ruby Tuesday on a fall day. It was gorgeous. You know how fall is. I mean, fall is one of my favorite. It was the sky was the bluest it's ever been, and the clouds were just so white, and the fall leaves were yellow and brown and like rust red, and you know, the breeze was not hot, it wasn't cold. It was just absolutely beautiful. And I wondered, how in the hell is the world so beautiful right now when I'm feeling like this? It made no sense. It made no sense that everything continued on just the way it was when I was in such a terrible place. You know, I couldn't understand it. I really couldn't. I couldn't understand it. I mean, if it's something like that, then that's, you know,
That answer is good enough for me. No, that sounds great. So we've got about a minute or so left. Is there any, obviously from your profile, we've got links to all of your things, your book, Firing God. Any things you want to announce that you have coming up, or?
Yeah, so so my link to my my YouTube page, Life Without a Witness, my channel. If you all would like to subscribe to that, that would be awesome. And so you can have these kinds of conversations there. And also my Patreon. I have a Patreon where, because it's helping to support my writing, like Roots Retold and other stuff that I love to do. And so, you know, patrons to support that would be absolutely awesome. And I'm everywhere. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. If it's cybersecurity or learning and development, or this stuff, you know, but they all come together. I mean, you know, you go to any channel, you're gonna hear this stuff, okay? It don't matter, all right? So just in a different frame and a different thing, you know, it's the same stuff, basically. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's it. I really enjoyed this, and I'm happy
excellent
that I was invited. It was awesome.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much. So we'll say goodbye now. I'll go ahead and end this webinar, and we'll see everybody in about 15 minutes. Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.